If the electron jumps from any of the higher orbits to orbit number 4, then whatever spectral lines are seen are called the bracket series. Bracket series. And last one is that when the transition of electron takes place from any of the higher orbit, that is 6, 7, 8 and all that, to the orbit number 5, then the series of spectral lines obtained are called P Fund series. आता तुम्हाला सांगायचं इथे एक पॉईंट काय आहे विच इज नॉट गिवन इन द टेक्स्टबुक. लेट मी टेल यू दिस इज गिवन इन द टेक्स्टबुक, नो डाउट, बट दिस इज द पॉईंट विच इज not given, that only the Balmer series, when you see hydrogen gas through spectroscope to see spectrum, you will see only this Balmer series. Why Balmer series? Because the emission line, whatever wavelength the emission lines have, that are in the visible region. Visible region is the region of wavelength which is sensitive to our eyes. In the sense, we can see wavelength from 4000 angstrom unit to 7000 angstrom unit, students. We can see wavelength from 4 into 10 raised to minus 7 meter. They are only visible to us, ranging from 4 into 10 raised to minus 7 meter to 7 into 10 raised to minus 7 meter. You know, Lyman series wavelength is lesser, and all their remaining Paschen, bracket, P Fund and all, their wavelengths are higher. So only visible wavelength is the Balmer series. Ends the job. Are you okay here? So if you even see through the spectroscope, you will get to see only the Balmer series. You will not be able to see the remaining series because they are not sensitive to your eyes. Are you okay what I am saying? Next, the drawbacks of Bohr's theory. We are going to discuss the drawbacks here of Bohr's theory. First drawback is that, students, the Bohr's theory does not give any idea about the fineness, बारकाई म्हणतो ना, fineness of hydrogen atom. Exactly how is the atomic structure, how are the orbitals, how are the orbits and all that. The fineness of hydrogen atom is not given by, cannot be explained on the basis of Bohr's theory. Second point, the theory can be applied only to hydrogen atom. You know, if you take hydrogen, then you take helium, lithium, beryllium, carbon, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, everywhere you cannot apply the Bohr's theory. Bohr's theory can be applied only and only to hydrogen atom. That is the second drawback of Bohr's theory. Third point is that, students, you know, when the lines, these whatever spectral lines are applied upon by magnetic field, this is one single emission line here. When it is applied upon by magnetic field, students, it splits into still finer lines. Okay, that is called Zeeman effect. That cannot be explained on the basis of your Bohr's theory. Like when hydrogen, the spectral lines are applied upon by magnetic field, they split into still finer lines. That effect is called as the Zeeman effect, which cannot be explained by the Bohr's theory. And when electric field is applied, the lines again split into finer lines. The effect is called Stark effect. Even this Stark effect cannot be explained on the basis of Bohr's theory. Students, and the last point is that the Bohr's theory even cannot explain that how the atoms combine to form molecules by the formation of chemical bonds. You know, how is that atoms come together, form chemical bonds and then form molecules? Even that cannot be explained on the basis of Bohr's theory. I'll repeat the points. The fineness of hydrogen atom cannot be explained on the basis of this theory. The Bohr's theory is limited only up to hydrogen atom. It cannot be applied for higher order atoms. When magnetic field is applied on the emission line, it splits into still finer lines. The effect is called the Zeeman effect, which cannot be explained. Even when the lines are applied upon by electric field, there occurs splitting of lines into still finer lines, which is called Stark effect. Even that cannot be explained on the basis of Bohr's theory. And even it cannot explain how the atoms chemically combine by formation of chemical bonds to form molecules. Even that cannot be explained on the basis of Bohr's theory. Okay. Next part we are going to discuss is de Broglie dual nature. Dual nature of what? Matter. Matter means what? It can be a solid, it can be a liquid or a gas. De Broglie's nature, dual nature of matter. So, what is this de Broglie's dual nature of matter? Matter, students, it exhibits a dual nature, meaning matter exhibits a dual nature, means it has momentum because it has mass. Now what is momentum? Momentum is the product of mass and velocity. So matter exhibits a dual nature, that is it has momentum means velocity. Simultaneously it also propagates in the form of waves. Like for example, electrons are there, they jump from here to there and even they have a negligible mass. So de Broglie says that matter exhibits a dual nature, means it possesses momentum or velocity, you can call, and also propagates in the form of waves. This is called as the dual nature of matter. When matter propagates in the form of waves, means it has wavelength, and when matter has mass, means it has momentum. The wavelength and the momentum, very important relation, students. The wavelength and the momentum are related by lambda is equal to h upon p, where what is h? H is the Planck's constant. H is the Planck's constant, and what is p? P is the momentum. You can also rewrite the equation as lambda is equal to h upon mv, where m is the mass and v is the velocity of the wave. Lambda is the wavelength, m is the mass and v is the velocity. That is the dual nature of matter, that matter exhibits it has momentum as well as it propagates in the form of wave. Ends the job. That is called as de Broglie's dual nature of matter. Lambda is equal to h upon p, or lambda is equal to h upon p. P is momentum, momentum is m into v. Ends the job. Clear? Then you have the Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. What is this Heisenberg's uncertainty principle? Heisenberg said that it is impossible to determine the position and velocity or momentum of a particle simultaneously. I'll repeat. Heisenberg's uncertainty principle states that it is impossible to determine the position and velocity of the particle simultaneously. Meaning, if you want to detect the position of that particle, then error develops in the determination of velocity. And if you are behind measuring velocity, then partly there is disturbance caused in the location of position. This is called as the Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. That is, it is impossible to determine the position and velocity, momentum of the particle simultaneously, because if you try to detect the position, there occurs error in the velocity and vice versa. Or we'll put here like this: delta x, which is the position, delta p, which is the momentum, is greater than, this is the Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, greater than or equal to h upon 4 pi. Students, don't go deep into this because this is higher order education. Actually, हे फक्त वरच्यावरती only bit of concepts are given. You have this in detail, but in the higher order studies you don't have it now. So just remember that Heisenberg's uncertainty principle explains that it is impossible to determine the position and the momentum of the particle simultaneously. That's it. Okay, this is Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. Then you have Schrodinger's wave equation. What is that Schrodinger's wave equation? It is, see here, H psi is equal to E psi. This is symbol psi, psi. This is a factor, a very important factor, which is called as Hamiltonian. What about E? E is the energy. So Schrodinger wave equation is given by H psi is equal to E psi. Symbol. Now what is psi? Psi ही सिम्बॉलचं म्हणजे हा psi, ह्याला psi म्हणतात. PSI. Actually, it is not SI. Psi, students, is called as the wave function. Psi is called as what? It is called as the wave function. H is the Hamiltonian, a very important factor. E is the energy. Students, using this relation, what we can do? We can determine the energy of the particle anytime or the wave function. What type of a wave it forms? Like whether it forms a sine wave, whether it forms a square wave and all that. So, what type of a propagation or what type of energy does the particle possess? Using this relation, we can do that here. Are you okay with this? Are you okay, students? This is H psi is equal to E psi. Then we discuss something called as, listen here. आता ह्याच्या पुढे काय येणार? We discuss something called as the using this Schrodinger equation, if you want to locate the exact position of the electron in hydrogen atom or any atom, if you want to detect the exact position of electron, we use certain important concepts or factors. They are, first, principal, quantum. There are certain factors which give us the exact location of electron in various orbits around the atom. First among them is the principal quantum number. Principal quantum number is denoted by the letter n. Students, it gives the orbit number or the shell number of the electron around the nucleus. For example, if n is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, then the shell is which shell here? Shell is K shell. For first, or if n is equal to 1, it is the first orbit which is called as the K shell. Second, if n is equal to 2, it is L shell. It is n is equal to 3, M shell. N is equal to 4, N shell. Okay. The number of orbitals. Now you may ask me, teacher, orbitals काय असतं? Orbit आणि orbital कसं? Orbit is the circular path of the electron around the nucleus. You know, in orbits there are small little areas which are called as the orbitals. आता example सांगू तुम्हाला. Like SPK. आता तुम्ही अजून कॉलेजला गेला नाही, that is your bad luck actually. I don't know about Milagres much. Otherwise I would have given you the example of that. Students, SPK ची मुलं जर तुम्हाला मुलगे जर तुम्हाला सापडायचे असतील तर ते जनरली ते एक अशरफ म्हणून एक दुकान आहे तिकडं गेट समोरच. तिकडं खायला प्यायला सगळं मिळतं म्हणून ते मुलगे जास्त ओव्हर क्राउडेड तिकडं असतात. म्हणजे इफ यू वॉन्ट टू लोकेट द पोझिशन ऑफ द बॉईज ऑफ दिस पर्टिक्युलर कॉलेज, यू विल फाइंड देम जनरली इन दॅट अशरफ शॉप. आता हे कम्पेअर करा इथं. आता काय, व्हॉट यू आर गोइंग टू कम्पेअर हिअर? Like for example, in an orbit, electrons are revolving. But where is the tendency of finding the electron at maximum level? म्हणजे असं की असे एरियाज असतात त्या ऑर्बिटमध्ये where you the what you can say, the we'll put here like this, the approximation or the factor to maximum placement of electrons are there. Means orbitals are the region where the tendency to find electrons is maximum. They are called the orbitals, students. ठीक है? So orbitals are the areas in the orbits itself where the tendency to find electron is maximum. म्हणजे तुम्हाला इलेक्ट्रॉन ऑर्बिटमध्ये शोधायचं असेल तर तुम्ही काय करणार? तो ऑर्बिटल्समध्ये जायचं. तिकडे 100% तुम्हाला इलेक्ट्रॉन्स मिळणार. असं आहे ते. आलं लक्षात? सो for K shell, the number of orbitals is n square. N square म्हणजे किती? 1. So K shell has only one orbital and that is called as S, small s. smallest orbital, L shell has principal quantum number 2. ओके. सो n स्क्वेअर म्हणजे किती झालं आहे 4. सो 4 ऑर्बिटल्स म्हणजे काय S P D F असे 4 नावं आहेत त्याची. ऑर्बिटल S, ऑर्बिटल P, ऑर्बिटल D, ऑर्बिटल F. नाउ यू मे आस्क मी 3 ला काय हाऊ मेनी ऑर्बिटल्स आर पॉसिबल 3 स्क्वेअर दॅट इज 9. S P D F अँड ऑल डॉट 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 घालायचा. S P कमीत कमी हे 4 बिकॉज जेवढे एलिमेंट्स डिस्कवर्ड आहेत ना त्याला हे F पुरे, त्याच्या पलीकडे जातच नाही. अँड n इज इक्वल टू 4 number of orbitals formed will be 16. 4 square 16 and all that. So S orbital there is K shell has only 1 orbital, L shell has 4 orbitals, means the areas where the tendency to find electron is maximum. M shell has 9 orbitals, N shell has 16 orbitals. And let me tell you one thing, as we move away and away from the nucleus, the size of the shell increases and hence the number of orbitals occupied by the shell also increases. Energy also increases, radius also increases, everything is there. Are you okay? This is the details about the principal quantum number. Students, we are coming to the end of this topic. Maximum part is over. I'll begin with the 5th topic now. After 4th topic is over. I've skipped off 2nd topic because it has problems, and problems in the sense sums, and you need to know log. I don't know when we'll begin with the regular classes. As soon as I begin, first I'll cover up the problem, students. Okay, bye for today.